So it was my environment, it was my personal experience. I was born in Calcutta, India. Calcutta is named after the goddess, the black goddess Kali, who has her tongue sticking out. She has the 29 heads of her husbands who she has slaughtered and killed because she desires blood. So Kali Ghat, the steps of Calcutta, the steps to Kali, was the city that I was born in. And I saw firsthand incredible worship to Kali, the goddess Durga, Shiva. He is the consort who has the serpent wrapped around his neck, serpent around his arms, serpent around his legs, so that whatever he's thinking, the serpent is thinking it for him, whatever he's doing with the serpent around his arms, wherever he goes with the serpent around his legs. So serpent power is integral in Hinduism. Actually, in all Eastern mysticism, the serpent is raised as a being of power, knowledge, and wisdom. And so I had this, as a child growing up, realized the power and the adoration of everyone around me for this sort of so-called white, incredible wisdom. And yet, as a little child, I could feel the spiritual fear somehow. I can't explain it. It was just always an ongoing dichotomy.
Well, now, tell us more about your background. You were born of British parents?
I was born of British parents. My father was in the British military, and my great-grandfather before him in diplomatic service.
Were you brought up in a Christian home?
Actually, I was raised a Roman Catholic.
Okay.
Fifth-generation Roman Catholic.
And a very devout one.
Very devout. Because in India, and because of my father's devoutness, my life was orchestrated by Jesuit priests and by nuns. They advised my father as to which schools I should go to. And so even when I was sent to boarding school later on in my life in England, it was under the protection of the nuns, the convent, the Sacred Heart Convent that they had decided and put together.
And so were you introduced to principles of Hinduism by anyone?
Well, interestingly, in every country that Roman Catholicism is, it takes on the culture of the country. So in India, Roman Catholicism is actually deeply influenced by Hindu mysticism. So it was a very easy step for me after I left school, about 17, 18, being introduced. In those days, London, I'd just come to London. We'd left my parents had left India. We came to England in the late 60s, where swinging London, the Beatles were in there, the Hair, the theatre show was absolute #1 swinging hit. And I remember the promotion of Hinduism and yoga had been completely repackaged for the West. The Hare Krishna devotees were going down the London streets, Oxford Street, in their orange garb, crashing their cymbals, Hari, 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 Rama, Rama, Rama. And I used to remember, I heard this as a child in India, but it was much darker. It was sort of blacker. It hadn't been repackaged for the Western mind, the way that Hinduism came through the Beatles, through Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, through transcendental meditation, through the celebrities, so that when the celebrities talked about Eastern meditation, Eastern mysticism, yoga, it came packaged with celebrity status. And it was very appealing as we were young people growing up in our 17, 18, 19, 20s, seeing our superstars turning to drugs and Eastern mysticism. Of course, we wanted to be involved too.
Well, in your book, a wonderful book which we're going to tell our viewers more about later on, called Out of India. In this book, one of the things that really stands out is you tell about when you got to London, you were 20 years old, I think this was in 1966, that you went to see a musical, and that it was like a life-transforming event, a spiritual event. What was the musical?
Yes, it was Hair. It was Hair. And it was transforming.
And you thought you had found the truth.
Well, yes. And really what was incredible about that was it was the manipulative way that music had now come into that generation. Of course, now it's in this generation who are consumed with music and the powers of music. But music was the conduit to take you into spiritual realms. And without even realizing the spiritual realms that I was being taken into was this polished Hinduism and yoga that I had just come out of. But in India, you could see it, the way, there are hundreds of idols, thousands of idols in the trees, in the monkey god, in the elephant god, in the cow in the middle of the street, which your car is not permitted to move if the cow is in the middle of the street, because that is God. So you can't, a sacred cow, holy cow. You cannot move the cow. The deity of the street at that moment can hold up your meetings, but you cannot kick that thing out because you can't kick God. But you see, it's not only the cow. Every animal, every living thing is divinity. The trees, the rats. There are rat temples.
There's a rat temple, yes.
Snake temples. So the idea of being one with divinity is part of Hinduism. And yet in Roman Catholicism, I was raised with the idea that Jesus Christ on the cross was sort of a divinity I couldn't reach, because I had to go through Mary, and I had to go through prayers and burning candles, and had to go through Mass and through benediction in my daily devotionals. And so it was a God that wasn't reachable, but in Hinduism, everything is divine. And so the conflict and